Who is Lucifer? The Christian church has created this huge doctrine about this evil deity, the arch enemy of God, called Lucifer, the Prince of Darkness. And he chases us around with his pointed pitchfork, and he tries to make us do evil things to each other. Does the Bible teach us these things? No, it's not there at all. Where they get all this is from a couple of verses in Isaiah chapter 14. But in actuality, it is not talking about an evil deity, a deity of darkness. Isaiah 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend unto heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend unto the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They shall see thee, shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, and did shake kingdoms? So we can learn from this verse, as we've just read, that Lucifer was a man that died nearly 2,600 years ago. He is not some evil spirit, some powerful evil deity that makes us do evil things. This verse is talking about Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. If you recall in our studies of chapter 9 of Daniel, and how that the Jews were taken into captivity in Babylon because they were not keeping the laws pertaining to the Sabbath. And you also might recall that one of Jeremiah's prophecies was stating that after the 70 years were up, that the kingdom of Babylon would become perpetual desolations. And it is. As I said when I was making that video, all you've got to do is turn your TV on and at news time, and you will see Iraq, no doubt, and how it is a giant sandbox, and how these perpetual desolations are still going on over there. Well, this is what Isaiah is talking about here, talking about the pomp that this king had because he was one of the greatest kings that ever lived, and yet he was now going to be brought down to the ground, that he was going to die, that he is just a man, and he's going to rot in the ground. This is all that Isaiah was talking about, and yet the kings that are shouting at him are other human kings too, as you can see when you start reading through these verses here. Lucifer, son of the morning. There is another occurrence of Lucifer if we look in the Latin Vulgate, and that is in 2 Peter 1:19. And this will show you that Lucifer is not talking about the devil. 2 Peter 1:19, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn, and the day star arise in your hearts. In the original Greek text, the phrase the day star is actually phosphorus. Phosphorus, the same word that we get phosphorescence from, a light-bearing material, just like the chemical reaction in a lightning bug. This is what the verse is talking about. So in other words, as I've said before, that Christ is that inner light which is within us. And if we take heed, in other words, if we listen to it, just like we listen to our conscience, and we do that which is right, if we continue to keep doing those things which are right, if we can continue to follow the leading of the inner Christ within us, there will come a change within us, which is talked about in the rest of the New Testament as the resurrection. This is what the Christians are trying to say when they say that you are born again, but they don't quite understand what they're talking about when they use that terminology. This is what this verse is talking about. Following the leading of the inner Christ as a light that shineth in the dark until the day dawn, and the day star arise in your hearts. In other words, that light starts shining brighter and brighter. The day star in the Vulgate is the word Lucifer. It does not mean that we keep following the leading of God until all of a sudden the devil is inside of us. This is not what it's saying at all. But if it doesn't mean that here, it doesn't mean that back in Isaiah either. The day star is Lucifer in Latin. Originally, the Greek New Testament, again, says phosphorus. And if we look into that passage in Isaiah, in the Old Testament Greek, or the Septuagint, we will see the word eosphorus. It means a shining or light-bearing material, just like we get the word phosphorus from. So that is what was being spoken of as the bright and shining planet Venus, and how it is a bright, pure light that is in fact sometimes mistaken by people as actually being a UFO, because it is such a pure white light with the sun reflecting off the surface of the planet Venus. Let me pick this up again in part 2.